Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, whether you're joining me from the present or the future. Welcome back to another Future Fight Vanguard video. Today in this video, we're going to be starting on V-BT05. Yeah, V-BT05, Aerial Steed Liberation. It is our V-Series set that features our 5 clans, which are Royal Paladin, Oracle Think Tank, Gold Paladin, Narukami, and Nubatama. So we're going to be going through those this week. And then next week we'll be on something else. If you guys are a member of the channel, you've already seen this for a week. So we're going to be on something brand new if you're a member, but that's another thing itself. Before we get started here today, if you guys are interested in anime or any kind of anime reactions, video gaming, I have that all on my second channel down in the description below, Let's Plays Animes. If you guys also want to join this channel's membership program and be a member, consider checking out the join button down below. It has a lot of perks such as seeing my videos early, tutoring, seeing my special deck list that I haven't uploaded to anyone yet, or I haven't showed to anyone yet, and you get to see things like that ahead of time, behind the scenes, all that stuff if you guys are interested. And then lastly, thank you to our sponsor Vision. Definitely check out their site down below. There's lots of articles and Vanguard related content for you guys to read there as well. But with that being said, let's get right into the video. So today we're going to be talking about Royal Paladin from this deck, so or from this set. So the Aerial Steed Liberation Royal Paladin. So obviously this is a Force clan to start off with. There's no G zone, obviously, because this is standard, not premium, duh. But this is a Force deck. It actually is one of the Force decks, the very few in my opinion, that can work with Force 1 and Force 2. It kind of just depends on the route you decide to go. This clan can end up working really well with Force 2. The only downside to going Force 2 in this build is that if you want to exculpate them, your exculpate is not going to be as threatening because you're going to have a 14k Vanguard and then a 10 after Blaster Blade rides. But besides that, when you're on just Scants a lot and you have Blaster Blades and stuff like that, you have Bedivere K, combo, all that, your numbers are pretty threatening by themselves. So having Force 2 really forces your opponent to think about what they're doing, and puts them in some situations that you couldn't put them in if they had, if you were using Force 1. So let's get right into the deck list here. So we have 2 Exculpate the Blaster. Exculpate the Blaster is a card that came out a while ago in the Royal Paladin, but it remains a good 1 of or 2 of in the Royal Paladin deck, depending on what build you're playing. It is basically a board wipe. So its first ability is when placed, counterboss 1, choose 1 card from your soul, put all the other cards from soul into drop zone, and when this card attacks during this turn, this unit battles all of your opponent's units in 1 attack. So front row, back row, Vanguard, rear guard, doesn't matter. Exculpate swings at everything at the same time, and if your opponent has cards that can intercept, your opponent cannot use those cards to intercept because they are part of what's being attacked. So they cannot just sacrifice themselves like that. So they have to feel the full weight of their whole board disappearing, which is very important. And then the second ability is basically allows for a restand. It says at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, then you can put 2 cards from your hand into the soul, retire this unit, and ride a Blaster Blade from your soul as stand, and if you could not ride, you lose. This is obviously very important because if you don't do it, you lose automatically, but you always need to make sure that you have a Blaster Blade at the ready before you use Exculpate the Blaster. A lot of times you'll ride Blaster Blade on turn 2, so you'll have it in your soul the entire game until it's time to do something. But if you happen to call it out with Alfred early or something, do not forget that you did that. Another good play that you can do is if you have 2 Counterblasts and you see an Exculpate and a Tristan in your hand, you can just use a Tristan to go get a Blaster Blade. There you go. At the end of the battle, make sure the Blaster Blade is one of the cards that you shove into soul so that you can ride it and not lose the game, but also continue your assault with your restand. So very good card. Next we run 4 Solitary Knight Gancelot. This is actually our new Premier Grade 3 that we got from the set. It is great Blaster Blade support, and it also turns your Blaster Blade into a Vanguard, which gives it a drive check, so that's really cool. So it has 2 continuous abilities. The first one is all of your Blaster Blade on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle get plus 10,000 power. The reason that it says Vanguard or Rearguard Circle is because it turns Blaster Blades into Vanguard Circles, so that any circle that Blaster Blade's on in the front row becomes a Vanguard circle. So that's why it says Vanguard or Rearguard, in case you guys are wondering. And then during your turn, the second ability is during your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, then your front row circles with Blaster Blade become Vanguard circles. So Vanguard abilities activate and also perform drive checks. So what this means is a couple different things. A, your Blaster Blade becomes 20k no matter where it is. Very good. And it happens on you and your opponent's turn. So if your opponent tries to attack in the Blaster Blade to get rid of it, they're going to have to match 20k or exceed 20k in their attack, which is usually pretty easy to guard for you if you want to block your Blaster Blade. That's number one. Number two, Blaster Blade gets drive checks, obviously. So it gets one drive check. So if you have two Blaster Blades, that turns your normally 2 drive check turn into a quad drive check turn, and it's on different attacks split up, which adds different levels of pressure to your opponent, which is really, really cool. And then the third thing is that you can also ride over your Blaster Blade. If it is there during the ride phase, it counts as a Vanguard circle, so you can actually ride Alfred early over a rear guard, get the force marker, and then call the Blaster Blade back, and it's even more powerful, and you draw a card. So really, really good. Leading into Alfred early. But speaking of Alfred early, we run 3 in the deck for a total of 7 grade 3s. And its ability is when placed on Vanguard Circle, counterboss 1 and choose up to 1 Blaster Blade from your hand or soul. It gets plus 10,000 power. You call it out to rear guard, and then you draw a card. So very, very good card. Obviously, just extends your pluses. You always want to be on Gancelot in this deck. So we're running these purely to ride this on the rear guard circle. And if we cannot get Blaster Blade and somehow there's one stuck in our soul or more than one stuck in our soul, then we can get it out with Alfred early if Gancelot's just going to be useless anyways. So that's very good. Moving into our grade 2s, we run 12 grade 2s. We run 4 Blaster Blade. Obviously, Blaster Blade has a lot of requirements in this deck, like or not a lot of requirements, but it synergizes with a lot of cards in this deck. If you did not run Blaster Blade, it would be really stupid because you have a lot of cards that mention Blaster Blade in their card text. So Blaster Blade skill has a continuous Vanguard ability that says if you have 4 or more rear guards, this unit gets +1 critical. So obviously very, very threatening on turn 2. Royal Paladin can set up very well with 4 units with ease if you're able to ride Blaster Blade. So if you ride Blaster Blade, call 2 more front rows, and then you call a back row, you call another back row, boom, you have 4 units. And a lot of your units like draw you cards, or they call out other cards like Bedivere K combo, you know, obviously Allen, and stuff like that. So when you have your turn 2, is very, very simple to set this board up and then deal major damage to your opponent because they do not want to take a 2 critical attack. God forbid you check a crit and it's 3 critical, but they do not want to take a 2 critical attack that early because it will set them up for failure going towards the late game or the mid game. So the secondary ability is when placed on Vanguard or rear guard circle, counterboss 1 and soul boss 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row and retire it. Obviously a useful skill if you're able to use it, or if there's something that really important in your opponent's front row that you want to snipe and that you can snipe. Obviously you're able to just use Blaster Blade skill, and then when you have Pluck Enchanter on the board, that obviously refunds the cost if you do it to where you would have none of that resource left. So very important. Moving on to our next grade 2, we have 4 Knight of Loyalty Bedivere. So Bedivere has 2 rear guard abilities. One says when placed from hand, you may call a Knight of Friendship K from your hand to rear guard circle. And then if you do, you draw a card. And then it has a rear guard ability that says if it's boosted by a Knight of Friendship K, it gets plus 3,000 power. So this is obviously Bedivere K combo that I was talking about before. We had this combo before, so you guys should know about it if you guys are not a new player. But I'm going to go ahead and cover Knight of Friendship K because they work hand in hand. So when this card is placed from hand, you can counterboss 1 and search for a Bedivere, and then you can shuffle your deck, and then during the turn that it boosted a Bedivere, it gets plus 3,000 power. So both K and Bedivere get 3,000 power when they're with each other. So Bedivere itself becomes 13k, and K becomes an 11k booster, making for a 24k column, which is a good number on no matter what deck you're playing against. That is a good number. Even if they are 14k Vanguard, they're on a grade 4. Still a very good number. So on turn 2, going back to the turn 2 play where we're talking about Blaster Blade, you can ride Blaster Blade, and let's say you have a Bedivere K in your hand, you can go for calling Bedivere, call K, draw a card, and then you counterboss 1 with K and call another Bedivere from your deck, and that's already 3 units, and you didn't really waste any cards from your hand. So it's really good, and then you just drew a card. So most likely whatever card you drew, you'll be able to play at least one of those cards to the board to make 4 rear guards to make Blaster Blade's crit active. So very, very good. Make sure you're being aware of that. Next, for our last grade 2 in the grade 2 lineup, we run 4 Knight of Truth Gordon. Knight of Truth Gordon, when it's on the rearguard circle, says during your turn, all the blaster blades on your Vanguard rearguard circle get plus 5,000 power. And then if your blaster blade's in the same column as this unit gets boost. So this unit specifically can boost blaster blade for a 10k boost, which is really good. And then on top of that, you can almost consider it a 15k boost, because if Gordon's on the board, it's already giving 5k to all the blaster blades. So really, really cool card. Really, really good for making really big numbers. Moving into our grade 1s, obviously we already covered K at 4, and then we're covering next Knight of the Harp Tristan at 4. So Knight of the Harp Tristan says when placed, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, counterboss 1, search your deck for up to 1 Blaster Blade, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck. Very easy way to go get Blaster Blade for those plays that you might need, whether you need it for Gancelot, whether you need it for Exculpate the Blaster, whether you want to use it with Pluck Enchanter, all that stuff, you know, obviously just helps you out, just being able to just go get a Blaster Blade at any time from your deck for Counterboss 1. And then we run 2 of our remaining grade 2s. So we run 2 Knight Squire Allen and 2 Pluck Enchanter. Knight Squire Allen says when placed, Counterboss 1, call a card with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your hand to rear guard. If you do, draw a card and this unit gets plus 3,000 power, so it becomes 11k booster. You get to call a card that you would have called anyways from your hand, and then you draw a card. So very, very useful. And then Pluck Enchanter says when your Blaster Blade is placed, soul charge 1, and if there are no face-up cards in your damage zone, counter charge 1. So what this means is that this is literally an exact refund of Blaster Blade's cost. So if you want to, let's say that you have 1 open counterblast and 1 soul, you can actually just play Blaster Blade when Pluck Enchanter is already on the board, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and blow your opponent's unit up, and then Pluck Enchanter will activate, soul charge 1, which will refund your soul charge cost, and then since you have no face-up counterblast, you counter charge 1, which will refund your counter blast cost. But yes, it is really, really good. Obviously you have a lot of cards that counterblast in this deck, so you want to be able to make sure that you can refund the cost if necessary and be able to use more of your counterblast skills. Moving on to our grade 0s, we have 1 Bark Goal as the starter, and then we have 8 critical triggers, 4 PG draws, and 4 heals. Our 4 of the new Future Knight Lu, 2 of Bringer of Good Luck Epona, 2 Flogel for our crit triggers, 4 Flash Shield Isolt, and then 4 Yggdrasil Maiden Elaine for our heal trigger. But yes, that has been the deck. So let's get right into the playing portion. Alright guys, so you guys can see that we are on the playing portion of the video now. So we're just gonna get strapped in here. Obviously you guys can see that we have the same deck list here that I just showed you guys on the other portion of the video. Bedivere, Gordon, all this stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into playing online. Select the Royal Paladin deck. Alright, so we got a match, Simon L Simon. So I'm actually going to do something different in my future fights now. So from now on, I'm going to show you guys how a deck will work with Force 1 and with Force 2. And like so on and so forth with the other gifts as well, just so you guys can see the difference in the impact on decks. So we obviously selected Rock here. Our opponent didn't select anything, so just pick Scissors for our opponent. We open up, our hand is kind of terrible, low-key. We're going to go ahead and put 3 back and draw 3 cards. So we don't have a grade 3. So we're actually playing the Aichi Kai matchup, I like to call it, where we're playing Royal Paladins, our opponent's playing Kagero. So we're going to go ahead and ride Allen. Use our starter skill to draw a card. Hopefully it's a 3. It's not a 3. So we're going to pass turn. Our opponent draws. Uses the skill of starter to draw, and then uses the skill of, or he uses the skill of his grade 1 first to draw, then discard. He does play Sable Dragonute. I don't know if he had this before. I think if he did, he definitely should have wrote it, but maybe he didn't have it before. Anyways, we're going to no guard that attack. So he gets a decat, which tells us that he's playing like the in version of the deck, or at least running part of that engine as part of what he's got going on here. So we draw for turn. We draw a Pluck Enchanter, which really doesn't help us at all. However, what we can do is we can go ahead and play this Pluck Enchanter here, and then go ahead and play this K here so that we can use the skill to call Bedivere. Counterboss 1. Search our deck for a Bedivere, call it. Just so we can start putting a little bit of pressure out. So we attack for 17, which is a perfect number against a 7K. We do drive check Blaster Blade, which is cool, but we still do need a grade 3. And then we attack our opponent here for 24, which our opponent's going to need 20k to guard. Alright, and our opponent gave us the 20k. Didn't really think that was like absolutely necessary, but maybe to my opponent, they think differently. Okay, so rides Berserk Dragon right here. That's really good if they're able to use Sable Dragonute and Airmo at the same time off of this. So probably getting rid of my Bedivere. I think that would be the smartest play. But we'll see what he decides. Okay, so decides to get rid of the K. Decides to use Sable Dragonute, like I said. Retire, draw. And then decides to use Airmo, like I said as well. Retire, draw, counter charge. Cool. The only uncool part of this is that unfortunately we're going to have to G-assist next turn. Our opponent attacks us for 18, no problem. Alright, no crit, so we're kind of still in a decent situation except for not having a 3. Oh, and there's a 3 against a lot, damage checked. Alright, let's see if we're lucky. Stand and draw, we're not lucky, so let's go ahead and G-assist, showing our opponent our hand. And then we actually did get the grade 3, which is good. We got Gancelot. I'm going to go ahead and drop both my crit triggers because I don't want them really. And then I'm going to ride Gancelot. We're going to go Force 1 for this matchup. And then we are actually going to call Pluck Enchanter here. And then call Blaster Blade here. Blaster Blade gets 10k. Obviously, we're not going to proc Blaster Blade skill, but we are going to Soul Charge 2 in hopes that we Soul Charge a Blaster Blade for Exculpate the following turn. So let's see what we Soul Charged. We actually did not Soul Charge a Blaster Blade, so that's unfortunate. But, you know, these are the risks you take when you play Cardfight Vanguard. Alright, so our opponent guards our first attack with a crit. That's completely fine. We attack for 30. Check 1 Tristan. That's really good because we can search a Blaster Blade next turn. And then heal trigger. That's also really good. We heal 1 damage off. 10k to Blaster Blade. Our opponent got a critical trigger, making our next attack only 15k to guard. So let's see if he opts to guard it. Yep, he goes ahead and gives us the guard. Now let's see if he has a grade 3 or if he's as unlucky as us. Probably not as unlucky as us, and probably has a 3. Alright, riding the end. See if he goes Force 1 or Force 2. Alright, so he decides to go Force 2 here, which is completely fine. I'd actually rather him be a lower number and swing with 2 critical than swing big for the entire game at me. He definitely retires Blaster Blade, smart choice. And then uses Sable Dragonute to draw a card, putting him at 5 cards in hand. He goes ahead into the battle phase. And he's going to be swinging Vanguard to Vanguard for 13, which we are going to be no guarding. Check 1, nothing. Check 2, nothing. Cool. So if we hit a damage trigger here, that would actually be godlike. Let's see what we damage tech. Nice, we damage tech the heal trigger. Unfortunately, we don't heal, but we do get the power to. Oh yeah, it was 2 crit, so we actually get to just protect ourselves altogether from Berserk Dragon by putting 1 trigger on each of our Vanguard and Rearguard. So for some reason the game lets you trigger skill even though you can't actually do it. So yeah, he triggers the skill but doesn't actually do it. So this is actually really cool because we're put in a interesting scenario here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to exfiltrate. Reason being is because we have a Gantalot in our hand and we're at 3 damage. So we will be able to take the punishment, so to speak, we'll be able to take the punishment from riding back down to Blaster Blade and also put out a good amount of pressure this turn from doing this. So we use Exfiltrate, Counterblast 1. Obviously we don't have a Blaster Blade in our souls, so we're just going to select the 3, ditch everything else. And then we're going to call Tristan, very important part to the process because we don't have a Blaster Blade in our soul. So let's Counterblast 1, search a Blaster Blade. And then let's go ahead and move this up. So we're gonna go ahead and attack his field for 34 with no boost. Check 1. Check 2, nothing. Our opponent takes a damage trigger. Alright. No damage. Exfiltrate skill activates. We put 2 cards in, so we're gonna put in a grade 3 and a Blaster Blade. Ride the Blaster Blade. We are not going to use Blaster Blade skill. So we're going to go ahead and swing for 37 to crit. Our opponent guards for a 1 to pass. We do check a critical trigger, so we go crit to Vanguard, power to Vanguard. That's what happens. Blaster Blade, bruh. Especially when you're Kai, like, you know, it's just bad luck all around. But that's actually just 3 damage for our opponent, so they have to heal out of this. Oh! And the classic Toshiki Kai does heal on 6, so pretty good, if you ask me. So nothing else can hit, so we're just going to end our turn there. Man, I really thought the game was going to be over right there. Let's see if he chooses to re-ride. Alright, so he does not re-ride, so we don't have to worry about the end restanding 3 times. We're still restand 2 times. So he uses the cat skill to shove it in the soul, and I have to guard the end with 2 cards for the rest of the turn. Not really that big of a deal. Soul Blast 1 for Overlord to get power. And then calls this, but he doesn't have 2 souls, so that's kind of dead in the water. And then he calls the PG as a booster. So he's trying to go in and kill us this turn. We're going to go ahead and take the rearguard attack because that doesn't matter. Alright, so what we are going to do here is I do want a no guard right here, just because I'll be able to block the remaining attack with 2 cards and then 1 just so that I don't have to lose Blaster Blade or Gantalot. But regardless, I'm going to have to no guard one of these attacks, so I'm going to go ahead and no guard this one in hopes that he doesn't get a crit. Alright, first check, not a crit. Alright, second check, not a crit. We're good. Cool, so we take 2 damage. If we're lucky, we'll get some damage triggers here. If not, it doesn't really matter. 1, 2. Alright, so no damage checks. That's fine. So our opponent counterboss 1, Soul Blast 1 to restand, but it is just 13, so we are just going to guard with the 2 lowest shield values in our hand. Let's go ahead and guard with the crit. The crit and Blaster Blade, I guess. What I really want to do is, there's no way around, there's no real way around blocking with 2, because if he gets a trigger, then the PG would outdo us, basically. But what we can do, actually, is guard... Yeah, let's go ahead and block with this. And then worst case scenario, he checks a trigger and then we have to PG the rear guard. Yep. And he heals, which is really actually really unfortunate for us. So that was like a double whammy there, because we did not want to PG this attack, but we're going to have to. Alright, so we PG'd the last attack, dropping the heal. And that should end our opponent's turn. Hopefully we draw a Blaster Blade or a way to get a Blaster Blade. Oh, we just drew a Blaster Blade. Nice. Hashtag blessed, right? Alright, so we are actually going to give the force over here to Tristan, so that Tristan can hit, and then we could call Blaster Blade. And we're actually going to use Blaster Blade skill to counterboss 1 and Soul Blast 1. And we're going to go ahead and snipe this. We are going to Soul Charge 2 with Pluck. Hopefully those weren't triggers. Okay, 1 was a crit. Could have been worse. Alright, let's attack for 18. We do get 3 drive checks this turn, so equal to however many drive checks he got last turn. Hopefully we do check Swole. Alright, so he guards that with a 10k. He's probably going to either no guard my Vanguard attack or the Blaster Blade. Unless he has a Swoller hand, then I think he does. Alright, so he no guards Vanguard. Check 1. Come on, give me a crit. Give me a crit. Oh my god, 2 grade 3s. That's terrible. Alright, at least he didn't damage check a trigger. We still have a sorta kinda chance, unless he has a way to guard for 38 in his hand, which he probably does because he checked a heal. Yep, so that's a definite no pass. Yeah, the only way that could have been good is if we checked a heal right there, going back down and allowing us to take a pity damage next turn. That Decat actually really screwed us last turn, just because we had to guard with 2 and drop our Blaster Blade that we did have. Our opponent calls Sable. Oh, our opponent might not have a way to get Soul, so our opponent might not be able to restand at all. But I guess that doesn't really mean anything, because we need at least 3 cards to guard 3 different attacks, and we can't really do that, as you guys can see. So if I were to guard this, he doesn't get a trigger. Alright, so let's go for the 1 to pass. I think he's going to get it, but just in case he doesn't and we're able to heal. Okay, so step 1 complete. Step 2 is just 6 damage heal, just like he did. So, no biggie, right? I would say easy, but I'm playing Misaki as my character and not Aichi, so possibly harder than we thought. Let's see. We didn't get the heal, boys and girls. Alright, so we do lose game 1. That's really sucky. He should have just died. We're switching to Aichi because screw that. You know what they say, you get more lucky when you play the character that plays the deck, you know what I'm saying? Alright guys, we back for that rerun. This man has 1420 rate off of us. This is the same exact guy, so let's see if we can get that run back now that we got Aichi Sendo, you know what I'm saying? Alright, kind of the same type hand as last time, before Mulligan. And this time we don't have a 2. Alright, last time we didn't have a 3, but this time we don't have a 2. Alright, opponent uses starter skill to draw a card. Uses PG to draw 1, discard 1. Drops the Sable Dragonute. Alright, ends turn, draw 2. Frick. Alright, ride. Starter skill, draw 2. Oh my gosh, this is terrible, guys. Attack, drive check a 2, or draw trigger into a 2. Oh my gosh. I think we're actually just countering Aichi's luck. My bad luck counters Aichi's good luck. Aichi's trying to help me, but he just can't. I'm too unlucky. Alright, our opponent rides the cat. Calls Airmo. And goes ahead and attacks us for 20, which we will gladly take. Alright, our opponent checks a Berserk Dragon. Hopefully we don't damage check it too. That's really gonna tilt us. Oh my gosh. Of course. Of course we damage checked it 2. And we're not gonna draw the 2 either, watch. Oh, okay, we drew Blaster Blade. I guess we are Aichi Sendo, boys! Let's go! Alright, so no Blaster Blade skill because he doesn't have a front row. That would be dumb. We are gonna go ahead and play Pluck Enchanter. And then we're going to play K. Go ahead and counter boss 1. Search for a Bedivere, call it. Now normally I would play another card just to make Blaster Blade get its 2 crit and for this to be threatening against our opponent, but I really don't want to risk that Tristan because I'm going to need it, and the other cards in my hand are valuable as well, or what I mean by that is I can't play these cards because they're too big of grade, but I don't want to play the heal because I'm going to need that later. So we're just going to go ahead and attack for 17. Alright, we did check a Gordon. Would have been nice to have him beforehand, but what can you do, right? At least we got a 2. Our opponent checks the damage trigger. Luckily, we're not in a normal 18k column, or we wouldn't have been able to hit. 24. Alright, we baited our opponent to block with a crit, so that's good. Our opponent has 4 cards in hand now. Alright, our opponent's riding the end here. I'm really surprised that when Kai rides Dragonic Overlord the end, he doesn't like say the name of the unit. That's really shocking to me. Alright, so he's gonna call Berserk Dragon. See if he uses the skill. Oh, I guess not. Alright, so I guess he didn't use the skill because he wants to use the end skill. We're gonna go ahead and no guard that. Hopefully he gets a draw trigger. Oh, critical trigger. That's not what we wanted, actually. Alright, so at least he only checked 1 trigger, I guess, even though that's still a very, very dangerous situation to put us in. Because now we have to take 3 damage. 1, 2. Look at all these grade 3s. Oh my gosh. Grade 3, grade 3, grade 4. Oh my gosh. My next turn was about to be awful. I personally think that it's really dumb that you can counterboss 1, soul boss 1, and while your opponent's on 2, just restand. but you know, dash just me. At least the original Overlord has to hit. But this one, it doesn't really matter if you block it or not. I'm going to go ahead and block with his heal. But if he checks a crit, then it's going to be really unfortunate because we're not going to be able to block. So, yeah, let's block this and hope for the best. Alright, so you didn't check a crit. Good. We actually get to live and do a turn. Alright, so our opponent has 5 cards in hand. Not absolutely awful. He does attack rearguard, which is cool for us because we would have just took the Vanguard attack. But he's probably doing that so that he can plus off of Stable Dragon Newt and Airmo. As expected. Alright, so he draws 2 cards. We stand and draw. Oh, we drew a Blaster Blade. That's really actually tight. So we're actually going to ride Gancelot. We're going to go Force 2 this time. Force 2 to Vanguard. And then we are going to... let's go ahead and call Blaster Blade. We are not going to use the skill of Blaster Blade, but we are going to use the skill of Pluck. Soul Charge. See what we got. Alright, we Soul Charge to Gordon. That's more than fine. And then we are going to... I'm conflicted whether I should play this Gordon or... No, it's probably better if I get more drive checks. So I'm just going to call this Tristan. Counter boss 1. Go ahead and search our good old friend Blaster Blade. And then call him out to the rearguard circle. Not use his skill. And we're just going to go into battle phase. So attack Vanguard for 28. He no guards. We do check a critical trigger, so crit to Blaster Blade, power to Vanguard. 2 damage for our opponent, which now means that they actually have to be threatened by our Vanguard because we're going to be put to 3 damage. Nice, no damage checks either, so this is a decent amount coming at our opponent's Vanguard. 30k. Let's see how our opponent chooses to respond. Oh, our opponent no guarded. Alright, so draw trigger. If we get a crit trigger, it's over. Oh, we just drew a crit. That's really unfortunate. Draw trigger. Alright, we didn't get anything for the second one, so our opponent takes 2 more damage here. Gets a lot of attacks. Boom. Alright, did get a critical trigger. That's not good for us. I feel like if he no guarded, he has a really crappy hand. So he's probably going to have to like expend a good amount to block this. 38. He made 53. Okay, no pass. Ah, now we get the crit. Why, Aichi? Why? Alright, at least we got a good amount of shield to hold up to the next turn. Also, our opponent's now at 5 damage, so what that means is that we can exfiltrate next turn. Our opponent's calling final turn. He's confident. Alright, our opponent rides the end. Our opponent better have a Decat in his hand. Alright, call Sable. Calls Overlord. Still not really seeing enough for a final turn here, personally. Alright, he's going into battle phase just like that. Alright, Vanguard attacks us for 23. We're gonna go ahead and guard for 28, making that a 2 to pass. Checks airmo, so he's not passing the attack. And he checks the end. Alright, our opponent discards 3 to restand, get plus 10k. So this time our opponent's attacking us for 23. We are going to block with a 10 and 2 5s because we do not want that to pass. Alright, so that was the last time he gets to check triggers, so that's really good for us. Yep, so he gets to counter boss 1, soul boss 1 restand, and we can just block this one because he's not going to get any drive checks. Then either way, we're going to have to PG the remaining attacks, so... Oh no!
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Oh! I didn't even see that had Force 2 on it. Guys, we're actually just dumb. We could have just won that game. These are the types of things that you legit don't notice when you're playing the game. Oh my god.
Moments later.
Alright guys, we weren't able to get that same guy back. It seems like all the people that are left at this juncture at Cardfight EX are like the super high ranked people or super high rated people. Because they're the ones that play the game the most, I guess. But it looks like we still got kind of a bad hand, low key. We're gonna go ahead and... Oh, I should have put back... Oh my god, I should have put back a 1-2. Oh, our opponent's actually playing Royals just like us. Our opponent rode this dog card. I think it's a draw 1, discard 1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's definitely a draw 1, discard 1. At least we got a 1, 2, and a 3 this time. We're gonna go ahead and ride the Allen. Draw a card. Go ahead and attack for 8. Do get a heal trigger, which is useless at this juncture. Critical trigger on defensive. Guys, we're still sad about that last game of Kagura. I feel so dumb. I'm like paying ultra attention now. Oh my gosh, 2 loading angels. That's swole. Hopefully we take this and get a damage trigger. Nope. Of course not. Take this and get a damage trigger. Come on, help your boy out. Oh my, okay. Gonna go ahead and block that. Best thing that can happen is we draw Blaster Blade here. Yeah, we did it. Okay. Go ahead and get better rear from K. And then we are going to swing Vanguard.
ヴァンガードにアタック。
No guard.
ドライブチェック。
Okay, we got a heal trigger. That's cool. Maybe this guaranteed another damage because the 34 will be too big. Unless the damage trigger comes through. Yep, draw trigger. Holy crap. I feel like my opponent has so much advantage over me already. It's crazy.
ヴァンガードにアタック。
Okay, so takes the attack.
ダメージチェック。ヒールトリガー。
Guys, what the hell is this? Oh my god.
ターンエンド。
Oh boy.
ドロー。
Shout out to Jonathan Owens, top 5 fortunate.
Imaginary gift.
Alright, so our opponent went force 1. We're definitely going to go force 2 because I want to force some damage.
コール。スキル発動。
Does Vetiver have the K? Oh wow, did have the K. Wow, that's so much advantage. Man's literally about to counterboss 2 at the end of the turn and draw 4 cards. That's wild. Meanwhile, over here, we don't even have a Blaster Blade. Oh my gosh. This might low-key be the last game I play, guys, because this deck's making me sad. Both in our matchups and in games, and in myself, like, just should have won that last game. Alright, our opponent calls a critical trigger just to make himself be able to draw 4 with both angels.
ヴァンガードにアタック。
We're gonna go ahead and no guard Vanguard.
ノーガード。
Maybe we can still make something happen with this game.
ドライブチェック。
Oh man, there's a heal. Maybe not. Maybe not. This person is too
ダメ
powerful.
ージチェック。クリティカルトリガー。
Crit. Our opponent attacks rear guard. We're just gonna go ahead and take that because
ノーガード。
I'm gonna have to save shield for the eventual really strong plays that my opponent's gonna be doing because they're gonna be drawing so many cards.
ノーガード。ダメージチェック。
And I take double crit as defensive. Like, oh my gosh. I need this on offensive checks, bruh.
ターンエンドよ。
And here's where my opponent counterboss 2 draws 4.
スキル発動。
Oh no, they healed 1. So,
僕のターン。
actually can't do that. And we draw a heal. What the? Oh my gosh.
これが僕の
If you guys can't tell, this is already so frustrating of a game. Like, with our hand, we literally can't do anything.
フォース。
Our hand is such doo-doo butter.
ヴァンガードにアタ
Attack
ッ
for
ク。
13. Probably just gonna guard. Oh, okay.
ノーガー
ドライブチェック。
But we're not gonna get a trigger though.
ドライブチェック。
Alright, we got a
トリガー
trigger. I need to stop complaining. It's just so hard. Like, our opponent's so far ahead.
これで決めます。
I mean, we went force 2, which is cool because we can put on the damage quick. And maybe that'll transform into being something good towards the more late
ダメ
game.
ー
But
ジチェック。
our opponent has 8 cards in hand and we have 9. 3 damage to 3 damage. Okay. Force 2 might have just evened us back up. But I think since my opponent went Force 1, it's going to start to show. That's kind of how it is. Like, Force 2 is good early. And the later the game goes, the more Force 2 sucks. And the later the game goes, the more Force 1 shines. So let's see if our opponent has a Blaster Blade or a way to get Blaster Blade. Yep, there's Blaster Blade. I feel like I just really need to exculpate my opponent next turn.
Vanguard にアタック
Attack for 35, 2 crit. I'm just gonna PG that because no. Do I want to keep this Bedivere? I do want to keep that Bedivere, so we're gonna get rid of the Alfred
スキル
early.
発動。完全ガード。
ドライブチェック
Drove Trek a Blaster Blade? Oh my lord. Blessed. Blessing them, blessing them, blessings.
ヴァンガードにアタック
We're gonna no guard, Vanguard.
ドライブチェック
Drive check 1, grade 3.
ドライ
Drive
ブチェ
check
ック
2. Nothing. Alright, if we could get a damage trigger and protect our K.
ダメージチェック。
Oh, okay, never mind.
リアガ
Let's
ー
go
ドに
ahead
ア
and
タ
throw
ッ
a heal for that just because I actually want to have a board and start doing stuff.
クターンエンドよスキル発動
Alright, our opponent just went to 12 cards in hand. I really want to exculpate, but I'm not going to be able to get that Blaster Blade off the board. So what we're going to do instead is not ride and call Blaster Blade.
ホール。
Skill.
ファーストバスター。スキル発動。
Go ahead and snipe their Blaster Blade. And then we're going to move this back and call Bedivere.
ホール。スキル発動。 ヴァンガー
Attack
ド
for
にアタック。
20.
ノーガー
ドライブチェック。
And we checked against a lot, which is not that productive.
みんな。
Hopefully our opponent doesn't check the damage trigger here.
ドダメージチェック
Okay, cool. Cool, cool. Attack for 13, 2 crit.
ヴァンガードにアタック。
Probably gonna drop a crit or a heal. Or PG. One of those. Nice. Our opponent dropped 2 cards. We're totally okay with that.
ドライブチェック。
And we got a critical trigger. Alright, so we're able to put out a little bit of pressure with Bedivere column. So they have to guard with 2 cards for this column too, which is really cool. Because we'll be able to put our opponent back to
ヴァンガー
8
ドにア
cards
タ
in
ッ
hand
ク。
at least. Alright, I feel like we're slowly catching up.
ガード
Slowly catching up. Now, unless our opponent has 2 Blaster Blades in their hand right now,
私のターンねドロー
things will get rough if they do.
ガイド
Alright, so ride another
イマジ
Gancelot.
ナリーギフト
Force to Vanguard. I know he has 1 Blaster Blade, but does he have 2? That's the question. Oh, okay, he's using Feather Dragon.
スキル
Yup.
発動
Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 3, draw 3, and then replace board. I feel like if we're able to survive, maybe we'll be able to just deck him out. I feel like that's a little bit of wishful thinking, but who knows? In the early game, we were set up pretty bad, so.
スペリオルコールスキル発動
Oh, do they have the K?
ス
Wow.
ペリオルコール
Alright, draw another card. Yeah, even if my opponent keeps drive checking, like let's say my opponent drive checks 3, it's gonna take them 5 turns to deck
スキ
out.
ル発動
Like that's a little bit too long to wait. Also, we don't have another way to get another Blaster Blade. This is looking real rough, guys. Real rough.
Vanguard
Alright,
にアタッ
opponent attacks for 35. We're just gonna have to PG that, honestly, because There's no way. We're just gonna. I feel like we should. I feel like we should not get rid of the exfiltrate, but
スキル発動
yeah.
完全ガード
ドライブチェック
Maybe if we draw Tristan, that would be the perfect thing. Alright, so our opponent attacks. We're gonna PG in hopes that our opponent does not check a crit, which I feel like is unlikely, but you know, we're praying here.
ドライブチェック
One.
ドライブチェック
Alright, two. Nice. And that was double grade 3, so guys, do we have a chance? Yep, our opponent attacks for 34. No guard.
ノーガードダメージチェック
Alright, Pluck Enchanter, we really don't care about that. Alright, top deck of Tristan, top deck of Tristan. Please. No! Alright, so there goes that plan to exculpate, honestly.
これが僕の切り札
At least we can ride and put a Force 2 on the Bedivere column.
イマジナリーギフト
Other than that, there's not much we can do. Let's go ahead and attack for
ヴァンガー
13.
ドにアタック
At least my opponent won't get, like, counterblast for the rest of the game with me attacking for Force 2. Unless they run Pluck.
ドライブチェック
Bedivere, can we get a heal trigger?
ドライブチェック
Alright, or we can just get double Bedivere. That's cool too. That's cool too.
ヴァンガードにアタック
ガード
Yep. We see how this plays out,
私の
guys.
ターンねドロー
I mean, can I even live? 34, 31, and 35. 34.
ガイド
Oh, yep, just rode again. That pretty much guarantees that we're not going to be able to survive because,
イ
yeah.
マジナリーギフトフォース
Like I said, the later the game goes on, Force 1 more powerful.
コール
And our opponent has double Blaster Blade. We might as well no guard and hope for a heal, which I don't even think that we can
ノー
get.
ガード
ドライブチェック
One,
ドライブチェック
two.
ダメージチェック
Yeah. And there's the Tristan that we needed top
あ
deck.
りがとうございます
Oh my gosh, that was
次はないよ
absolutely awful 3 games. But I hope you guys enjoyed me losing, getting my butt kicked. Hopefully, if you guys have any comments, concerns, questions, or opinions on the deck, leave them down in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video here today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you guys are members, I'll see you guys ahead of the videos, so be sure to look out for Vision, look out for our join button, and check out Let's Plays Animes if you guys are interested in anime. But with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys later. Peace, guys.